Hi, this is Brandon from Watches on You. Today we're taking a look at the Breguet Type 21 reference 3817 in rose gold. And right away I want to mention this watch is currently available pre-owned here at JB Hudson. They're who's lending us this watch. They have a wide selection of pre-owned watches as well as new watches. So now let's jump right into this review. So this is the Breguet Type 21 reference 3817, again in rose gold, also known as the Transatlantic, and that relates to the dial configuration and the fact that it has a date. I actually prefer the Aero Navale version of this watch, frankly because there are some key differences in the overall design of the case. And for one thing, the bezel on this watch is brushed, whereas on the Aero Navale it is polished, and also on the Aero Navale there's no date. I think it makes the dial look a little bit more natural, and I really like how it looks. But this is definitely a very high quality watch, and I really like it, especially in the gold. I think that looks absolutely fantastic, and it kind of adds a whole new air of the fact that it's a Breguet. I mean, the steel Type 21 wouldn't get actually that much attention probably, but if you want attention for having a Breguet and having the dedication to the brand, you should probably end up purchasing this gold version. So this watch is a flyback chronograph, and for those of you who don't know what it means, I will demonstrate it right here. So on a normal chronograph, when you start it, you can then stop the chronograph. So you see the second hand is moving. You stop the chronograph by hitting the top pusher and then reset using the bottom. So just as I did, that function also works on this type of chronograph, but additionally, the flyback chronograph is capable of doing split times. So you can push the bottom pusher while the chronograph is running, and it will fly back to the original position, but the chronograph will keep going. So again, that's for split times, and then if you want to stop it, you just hit the top one again, and the second hand stops, and you can reset it just like normal. And on this chronograph, the minutes for the chronograph are a second hand on the chronograph itself, on the main stock itself, as opposed to having a sub-dial. And that is interesting on this piece because one of the sub-dials is actually a 24-hour sub-dial. So you could end up using this watch kind of like a GMT if you wanted to. And I think that kind of adds to the whole kind of aviation theme of this piece, because this is based on the original Type 20, which was an aviation watch for the French military. So I really love, again, the overall design of this watch. You see it has the beautiful coin edge beveling on the side. I really like how that looks. And one thing that I think that this watch is lacking, I kind of wish that they did a clear case back. I know that the watch has a Lamania-based movement, but frankly, Breguet owns Melania now. Or Lamania, sorry, not Melania. A little reference to the First Lady there. But I think that they could have displayed that movement, and the flyback chronograph would look pretty cool. So again, it just kind of has this boring case back that says Breguet Type 21. And it's essentially the same case back that's also on the steel version. Actually, I think exactly the same. But it also displays the water resistance rating of 100 meters, and that is fine. I mean, it's a chronograph. You're probably not going to be diving with it. It's also a Breguet in gold, so I doubt anyone would be going in the pool, let alone diving with this watch, even though it does have a rotating bezel, which is just more for probably timing aviation-related things than timing how much oxygen is in your air tank. So I'll demonstrate that here. Now, I don't really like the feel of the bezel on this watch. I think that the clicks are a little bit unsatisfying, and I don't know, it's a matter of personal opinion. It's kind of smooth. It is a bidirectional bezel. So again, obviously can't dive with it. I would never dive with this watch, but yeah. So now moving on to a wrist shot of this piece, and it comes on a deployant clasp. There is also a bracelet available, but I prefer this leather band on the watch with the deployant clasp. I think it looks a little bit more classy, so I'll demonstrate that here. And the deployant clasp is fairly similar to that on a Patek Philippe. It feels relatively the same. It's of the same quality, so it's easy to put on and take off. So I think that the overall look of this watch, I mean, it looks great on the wrist. I think that the size is not too big of a deal. I think it would look a little bit big on most people's wrists. I have a 6.5 inch wrist in diameter, but again, it's a chronograph, so I think you can be kind of forgiven for the size of the watch. And before I forget to mention, the exact size of the watch is 42 millimeters. I definitely think it wears much more like a 45, frankly, but that might be because there's a lot of open space on the dial itself. So if you like this video, please remember to subscribe and share. I'll also be leaving a link in the description if you want to purchase this watch, or if you want to purchase it from a store itself, you can contact JB Hudson. Thank you.